real stuff of living it and hold nothing back. I'm Ginger Stocky with Jay Williams and Aaron Cluley, three friends who are all in very different stages of life, but we know the importance of having honest, loving women around us. And when we need a little extra help, we call up Miss Joyce and we just ask her. So sometimes you just need to talk about life with your girlfriends. Consider yourself one of us now, and let's talk it out together.
Let's do it.
Let's talk, ladies.
We have so much to talk about because
So much.
we started this journey of changing some habits, of taking bad habits and replacing them with good habits last week. We're actually utilizing Joyce's Make One, Break One challenge information, which is great. You can find it online at breakonebreak1.com, makeonebreak1.com. And it's completely free to sign up, and it's a weekly email that walks you through this. So let's remind people, I guess, of the habits that we were changing. Who wants to go first?
I'm going to let Aaron go first.
You tend to volunteer me quite a bit, Jay.
Because here's the thing. Because I did volunteer you last time, but you really were just like, almost like, I really don't have a lot of habits, but
I know.
What she said was, I'm super disciplined.
Yeah, she did say she was super disciplined.
But she is. There's nothing wrong with that. It just made us feel like terrible people.
I felt awful.
Because I don't have wrong things in my life.
No, none.
Except then we talked to Joyce, and now I realize I have many things to work on.
Right.
This
Put
got
the
very
phone
long.
down.
Yes. So last week I worked on putting my phone down when I'm home with my family to be more present with them, to focus on them and not on emails coming in or what's happening in the whole world of social media, which is so important.
That's a big one for all of us.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I hate to admit how difficult it was.
Was it?
But because it's a habit.
Yeah.
So you see your phone sitting there. So I would go to pick it up, and then I would hear the Lord and Joyce in my head. It took them both to say
Reinforcements.
Yeah. But it was I had to be very intentional about it. But it was so cool because not that I interacted differently with my kids, but I was more present, focusing on what they were doing and what they were saying. So we got to have some really cool conversations this week, and they were asking questions that I got to be more present for. And I mean, we would have probably talked about it even if my phone wasn't out, but I don't know. I was in the right mind space.
Erin's a working mom with a husband and two
busy
preschoolers.
They're so cute, guys.
They're lovely.
They're the cutest little kids
They are.
ever.
They
really are.
They keep you hopping.
They keep you hopping.
But you still have a phone in one hand, which is impressive.
Yeah, right? I mean, that's a talent.
It's multitasking.
Yeah, I'm a really good multitasker.
And we can all do it. But we know for sure that what Erin said is true because in the group text that we were bombarding her with every evening.
We couldn't help it. I love you guys.
It was terrible.
And I forgot
She waited, though. She didn't answer
She
us.
didn't. And she's just like,
Until
guys,
later.
you guys know what time it is.
And part of me didn't answer because I knew you knew what I was doing.
It was a bad habit.
test.
But I needed your help with my habits.
So how'd yours go, Jay?
Isn't that selfish? I know you got your habit, and I know you probably breaking it. Help me with mine.
Break yours to help me
Break
with
yours
mine.
to help me with mine. It's called accountability.
So how'd that go? How'd that go, Jay?
It didn't go as well as I would have liked it to go. My habit to break was to eat. Well, I don't eat enough. I typically get so busy with life, get so busy with work, with family. I'm married and I have a daughter that's 15 and I have jobs. It seems like I have lots of jobs.
Multiple
Our
jobs.
busy lady.
Yeah. And
Jay's just singing all over the place.
Singing all over the place, you know. I love to do what I do, but because I do so much, I oftentimes don't prioritize eating much.
Yeah.
And I remember in college, I used to be so disciplined with that. Like I was the same. I was a lot like our friend Megan. I was a person that I had a turkey sandwich every lunch with pretzels and an orange. My friends thought that I was so crazy, but I was so disciplined with that. But that was before I got married. That was before I had a kid.
Things change.
Life
Yeah,
got
that
in
was
the way.
before I got had a job. And so somewhere down the line, I stopped prioritizing my health and stopped prioritizing, eating enough. That busyness, work was more important. Like getting things done, checking things off my checklist was more important. So that was my habit that I needed to at least attempt, okay?
Yeah.
Attempt to break because I didn't break it yet. I ain't free yet, y'all.
So we hear from Jay, and she says, I ate a donut, and I feel really sick.
And so I'm texting them
What
this
kind of
stuff.
donut was this?
You didn't do it right, Jay. You didn't do it
It's
right.
like, I don't know what, like, seriously, I think my body was almost not rejecting food. It was just not used to eating so much that
Sure.
I was just getting sick. It's like, ugh. I wasn't eating tons, even though I did go to a wedding and it was the most, I don't know, I felt like I was on a scene of Beauty and the Beast where they're like, be our guest, be our guest. I mean, it was
to go to that wedding.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, it was so much food, and I was like, "Well, Lord, you really set me up, huh?" But I was just trying, and I was like, "I can't eat anymore." But that was one day I did eat a lot, but I did. And I know we'll probably talk about it later, but it was a hard habit to break to not get. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's late, and I haven't eaten anything. So yeah, that was my habit.
That's good.
So I'm working on the sugar habit because it's kind of a newly developed thing that I know that I've done as a stress release, which is such not a good thing. And so, to be honest, this week I had more stress. I had a lot of things going on, and like all of us are, I'm a busy person. We've got a lot going on at work and in the ministry, and I've got a lot of family things happening that you want to just leave in God's hands. But sometimes if you pick up a little bit of hot chocolate or something to drink that's warm and cozy that makes you feel better and trust
All your cares
God.
melt away.
Let me trust God as I sip this.
Exactly. So I worked hard on that, and I did pretty well. It was not perfect.
You did
I have a long way to
fantastic.
go. Well,
I mean, I am terrible. I asked you a couple times if you wanted one, and I know what you're doing.
You totally did.
I did. That was
Okay,
terrible.
okay, so we're in the same boat.
We're all not helping each other.
But the other thing we did, which because you inspired me, Aaron, to do this, we didn't turn on the television one night, which is a big deal at our
What
house
did you
because
do?
I told you I just need noise all the time. I love activity and stimulation and noise, and so I talked to my husband. What? I know.
She said it
What
like,
was that even
she's
like?
like, guys, I talked to my husband.
Was he so confused?
I like him. I still like him. So it's a good thing. Yes. So this thing that Joyce says about replacing bad habits with good habits is really true. And the whole sugar thing, I really did focus more instead of that as a stress relief by spending more time with God and praying
that's
more.
good.
And it's not easy because it's a habit and you do it without thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, what's in my hand? How did this get in my mouth? What's happening?
Stop.
Yeah, but when you do purposely replace it,
Yeah.
it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It works.
One thing I had to remind myself was when I would fail and pick up that phone again or get distracted, just like Joyce reminded us that doesn't mean I failed forever, but
Yeah.
just try again the next time. Just give myself some grace and try again.
Well, to all of our friends who are listening, you're part of our girl posse too. So we want you to be part of this. We
Yes.
hope that you're all working on habits as well. We'd love to hear about it. And today we are going to focus on a habit that I have a huge problem with, and I know both of you do because I know both of you. And it's the hurry habit.
Oh, man.
She wrote this one for me.
It's so true.
Yes.
So let's take a listen to what Joyce has to say about the hurry habit, and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Everybody, it seems like, is in a hurry, but a lot of people don't even know where they're going. And I like what one man said, Soren Kierkegaard, most men pursue pleasure with such breathless haste that they hurry right past it. And that's true. We're so busy trying to enjoy our lives and working so we can have things that we can enjoy, and yet most of the time we're too busy to enjoy any of it. And so you can hurry on the outside, but you can also hurry on the inside. And I actually think that when you're in a rush all the time in your soul, that does a lot more damage to us than what we can ever imagine. Now, I have lots of experience with hurrying because I have a lot of things that I'm doing, a lot of things I'm responsible for, and I'm a pretty quick person anyway. And so I've had to really work in this area, and I'm still letting God teach me in this area. My husband's mom she raised all the kids, 8 children, and Dave's dad died when he was 16, so they still had lots of young kids at home. They didn't have much money, and she cleaned homes for people, and she was just very, very busy. And so she just hurried all the time, Well, after all of her kids were gone, and she was up in her 70s, and she was living with one of her other kids, I was over there one day, and she was making me some coffee, and I noticed that she was just running from thing to thing to thing in the kitchen. And I said, "Why are you in such a hurry?" She said, "Oh, I don't know, that's just a habit I've got." And so sometimes we get in such a hurry that it becomes such a part of us that we don't even stop to think that we don't have to live that way. And I'm just encouraging you to make a decision today that you're going to calm down, enjoy the trip, enjoy the journey, take the time to enjoy some of the things that you've worked so hard to attain in your life.
So this whole concept of enjoying the journey, I love that. I mean, that really is one of, I guess, the keys in my life is I love adventure. I love to accomplish a lot and go. And one of my biggest fears is to miss out on anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that says something about all of our personalities. You know, I think that we all want to accomplish a lot, which keeps us busy, but we want to have fun at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but that whole thing about making a decision to, even when your life is hurried, you don't have to be hurried on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works better than others, but without making that decision, it doesn't work at all.
That's really good. That's the one thing that stood out to me is that sometimes we are just busy. I have 2 little kids and a husband, and I'm working. And so they have to eat every day. I have to do things for them because they're too little. They have to have a bath. I have to go to work. So some of that is just part of life. But I don't have to feel so hurried on the inside.
Yeah.
How can you live in that space where I am enjoying my life and calm inside, even though I have a lot to do?
Yeah. That's really important to stop. And that's one thing that I've learned from you, Ginger, is even in conversations, because I'm a communicator. I love to talk to people. But one thing I realized about you, Ginger, and Aaron, you do this as well. You all keep conversations going, but then you are okay with your Selah moments. And what I mean is, like, you're okay with the silence for a moment.
I've learned the same thing from Ginger, too, because I used to feel the need to fill the silence. But you do so well at just sitting there and, I don't know, just being in the moment.
I feel so boring now.
No, because you have really healthy dialogue and conversation when it's time. But then I've also allowed myself, because of what I've noticed from you, is to stop and process, what's been said and what I'm going to say next. So that's something that, I'm still working on is being okay in the awkward silences sometimes, so that helps you even enjoy the conversation. So enjoying the journey, enjoying the moment, it's all things that I have to intentionally do is stop. Like even with Instagram and stuff, you want to take photos of everything. Sometimes I'm just, I okay, let me take a bunch of them now and so I can enjoy my trip, but it's hard to do sometimes.
And also we're all, as we've talked about, in different stages of life, right? So Erin has 2 lovely preschoolers and she's working, and Jay is all over the globe and she's got a beautiful 15-year-old daughter, and I have 2 grown daughters and a brand new, well, actually the most lovely baby on the planet. Baby
you can
granddaughter.
Say that because mine are older, so that's okay.
Yeah, specifically baby.
Yes,
yeah,
you may have that.
So, but with all that in mind, I have always wanted, at whatever stage my kids are, to create memories. I don't want to forget the wonderful things that God has blessed us with.
Yeah.
And when I'm too busy, I miss those things.
Yeah.
I love this verse. I think about Mary. She was a mom too. And she had Jesus, who was the perfect child, which still would have been challenging because I can't even imagine some of the things that Jesus said to Mary and what that must have been like. But she also had normal kids. So, but with everything that was happening in Luke chapter 2, verse 19, but Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart, because she wasn't just running
Yeah.
She was creating memories. And with Joyce talking about enjoying where we are and what God has given us,
Yeah.
if we don't slow down enough to see those things and ponder them in our heart and treasure them, then we're running too fast and the memories go past us.
I thought about that exact thing last night. We were doing bedtime, and my husband and I joke that it's a race to see how fast we can do bedtime, because by the end of the day, you're just done. And we have worked, and we've done dinner and bath and all that, so we're done. So
That's reasonable.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah.
But there's such sweet moments that happen at bedtime, and they're in their jammies, and they're just being precious, and they're sweet, and they want to read more stories, and they're laughing, and they want more songs. And I'm like, for the love, go to sleep. But they're so precious, and those are the memories that I want to have, is praying with them before they go to bed. That's when Kate, and my 4-year-old, wants to talk about God and is asking questions. And I don't want to rush that, because how else is he going to learn? And those are moments that I don't get to have back.
Yeah.
But I can't hurry that.
Peace is such a great thing, and when we're hurried inside,
Yeah.
we're not peaceful. So
Yeah.
Joyce is going to help us out with this important point of living in peace.
1 Peter 3:11. Yeah, I'm a pretty peaceful person now. I would say that most of the time I'm just pretty peaceful. That doesn't mean that I can't get upset or that I don't still see a little temper flare once in a while, but I'm a pretty peaceful person. And you know why? Because about 15 years ago, I decided that if it was the last thing I ever did, I was going to learn how to live in peace. Because I had spent a large majority of my life frustrated and upset. And I found this scripture, and it really taught me a lot. This is him who wants to enjoy life and see good days, is what verse 10 says. So if you want to enjoy life and see good days, let him turn away from wickedness and shun it. Let him do right. Let him search for peace. Everybody say, search for peace. Harmony, undisturbedness from fears, agitating passions, and moral conflicts, and let him seek it eagerly. So we have to search for peace, and we have to seek it eagerly. Then it goes on to say, peace with God, peace with yourself, and peace with your fellow man. So let me just throw this out, because I always have to get this foundation in. If you're not at peace with yourself, then you're not going to find peace no matter what you do in any area of life. So the first thing you got to do is decide, okay, I'm not perfect. God knew that when he got me. I don't have to be mad at myself. I don't have to be in a war with myself because I make mistakes. I'm not where I need to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. I'm growing. Amen? And you can enjoy yourself while you're changing. And if you don't learn how to enjoy yourself, you're not going to learn how to enjoy anything else that you do. You know why? Because everywhere you go, you're there. So no matter what you're doing, if you don't enjoy yourself, you're going to run into yourself everywhere you're at, and you're going to be miserable. So we really need to stop all this hurrying and frustration and upset. And I want you to form a habit of being peaceful. I'm talking about breaking the hurry habit, but I really could have called it form the peace habit. I'm at the point now, and I know that many of you have reached this point too. My husband was born this way, but I wasn't. I had to catch up. Where the minute that I start to get upset, that's like my alarm clock to change something. I can't do it anymore. It's too hard on you to be upset. It takes too much of your strength and energy and power to be frustrated. And to hurry all day long just absolutely will wear you out. It just will wear you out. Hurrying is one of the major sources of a loss of peace and unpleasant display of emotions. If you want peace, how many of you want more peace? You sure? All right. If you want it, then you have to be willing to make the changes that you will need to make. to get it. You're not as interested in that, I guess, huh? You can't keep doing the same thing and expect to get a different result. I said you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting to get a different result. You say, well, I'm praying, I'm waiting for God to do something. You know what God will do? God will show you what to do, and He'll help you do it. We miss that. We always want to live, crazy and then expect God to come in and wipe away all the results of the way that we've lived. But you have to change things if you want to have peace.
So what do you plan to do to break the hurry habit and live in the peace habit instead?
Jay?
I knew you were
Aaron
going to
was
do that.
right on that one.
Well, the first thing that I loved how Joyce said, follow peace and search for peace.
Yeah, pursue it.
Yeah, like that's something that I can practically start doing. I'm so quick to be, like I said before, I try not to be as reactive as possible, because what that ends up being is really just me defending whatever I'm trying to do or say or whatever. I need to just find the good, find the peace. What can I do to put this fire out?
Yeah.
Because sometimes
We're all firemen sometimes.
like sometimes I'm just like, because I want my point or I want my thing to be the thing, that I become sometimes super defensive of it. And so just being like, take a breath and just be okay, find and follow, search for peace moments,
Yeah.
That's really good. What
Me
about you,
too.
Ginger?
I'm going to do that too.
No, you need your own.
I need my own.
Yeah, you can't copy her answer.
Man. No. Okay. One thing I know that I'm going to do, and I might cry when I tell you this. You guys might cry when I tell you this. Oh no. Okay.
Thank you for the warning.
These girls know how I hate to cry. But anyway, there are really 4 of us. There are 3 of us here, but we have another friend named Megan, who is one of our close friends, and she is moving away.
We are going to cry now.
I know, she's moving away this week. So we have been, we went out to lunch for Megan's last Monday at work. And then we went out to lunch for Megan's last Tuesday at work. And today we all ate together for Megan's last Wednesday at work.
it's a process.
I know. My point to all this is she's been with us 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I have probably taken the time to go out to lunch with all of us, or with Megan so few times. And I loved it so much. And I love being together, and the hurry of my life and my job, not because they make it that, because I make it that.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for my schedule, and I just feel like there's so much to do that I just can't possibly take the time.
Yeah.
And instead, I want to spend the time to be with you guys and to enjoy other people that are here, and not to just think about, the next meeting that's on my calendar or the next project that I need to work on. So I want to let go of that hurry habit, of that daily, every minute grind being so productive, and instead think about how productive it is when I just love the people that I'm with.
That's really good.
And I'm going to miss Megan.
Me too.
Can't even talk about it anymore. It's too much. That's really good. I think.
What are you going to do, Aaron?
Something really cool happened this last week. Caden and I were in the car. I was dropping him off at school, and he said randomly, "What is peace?" And I thought, well, oh my goodness, how do I explain
That's
it
such
to
a
a 4-year-old?
big question.
I know. And I thought, okay, what does that mean? And so I said, well, it's on the inside, you feel cozy. You feel warm and cozy. We like to talk about being cozy and snuggly. You feel cozy, even if everything around you is crazy. On the inside, you feel cozy. And so that seemed enough. We then moved on to fire trucks or something. But for that moment, that's good. So I kept thinking about that and thought, how do you feel cozy in the middle of chaos? And it's that taking a breath of, okay, what this is going to keep going around me. It's busy, but I can feel that breath on the inside, that peace on the inside.
Yeah.
So I want to take those moments when I feel the chaos or the anxiety or whatever it is in my hurriness, and just take a breath.
Yeah.
One thing too, I also need to work on is that Martha, the Martha life that you live. I live too, and I feel better about myself when I am hurrying. So
Like more
It's
accomplished, almost like I've done it. I'm
Yeah,
doing
it's like
it.
a
And
pride
don't you
thing.
love to tell people how busy you are?
Yes.
I
Booked,
do.
okay?
It's a
I'm
horrible
busy.
pride
Yes.
thing. I've just got so much to do.
Because on the days when you don't you feel
Booked
so
and
embarrassed?
busy, baby. Okay.
Those are my words too. That's exactly what I say. I have so much going on. I can't see you today because I just have a lot on my plate. But I want to work on that. That even if I don't, if I have a slow day, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I make time for that day? Who could I hang out with that day? Or I need to not find my identity in my hurriness. Is that a real word? Hurriness?
I like it.
It's now.
It
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
now.
my hurriness.
And but you know what? That makes me think about today's society and how we don't want to look lazy.
No. Or
You
like I
know?
can't do it.
Yeah. So sometimes it makes you, it can make, I'm like, I am busy. I have things to do. Okay. I'm making money moves. Okay. But, so today's society can make you want to do the next big thing,
Yeah.
to even feel like I am a, 2019 woman.
But we don't have to be like society, do
No.
we? I mean, that's the whole point. We're set apart. And it's
Exactly.
not easy. It's not natural. But if we pursue peace, I was on my way to work the other day, and I was sitting at a stoplight, and there was one car ahead of me, and the light changed, turned green. The car ahead of me was on their phone, so they didn't go. But the car behind me went when the light turned green.
Wait.
So, yeah, exactly. I'm in the middle.
The math doesn't add up there.
I got rear-ended is essentially what happened. The
wow.
car behind me went. I was not moving because the car ahead of me had not, and it was a crunchy thing.
Wow.
So, the first thing, of course, you think is, well, my day's ruined, and I've got to get there, and I have a lot to do. But beside that, I think of how many times I rear-end people,
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
run into them because I'm texting as I walk down the hallway.
Fall down the
Because
stairs.
Exactly. I have to do so many things at the same time that I accidentally run over people,
Yeah.
not even realizing because I'm trying to stay so busy, and I have to slow down, and I have to pay attention to that person in front of me, because if they're not moving or if they need help,
Yeah.
if I don't make time in my life to serve other people, then my life is pointless.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's so good. And I think this conversation is super helpful because I'm sure some of our girlfriends that are listening have these same kind of issues. I've had a lot of friends ask me things like, how do you stop having anxiety? Like, how do you stop?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the practical steps. I remember when I struggled with like even anxiety, it was just kind of like a hard moment for me to be like, I don't want to feel anxiety. But then you have to stop, slow down, assess what you're doing.
Yeah.
And just what you said, Aaron, take that breath. Sometimes it takes that physical breath just to say,
Yeah.
it ain't that serious, girl. Have a little pep talk with yourself and just say like, it's not that serious. Whatever needs to get done, God will get it done. Like God is in control. And so I think that practical, just taking a breath, looking at things, assessing, but then giving it to the Lord, doing your part, but giving it to the Lord. I think it's so helpful for me, and I'm sure it's helpful for other people.
So a really great way to kind of top all this off, a good conclusion and really, really helpful practical thing for anyone listening right now is to go to our webpage, JoyceMeyer.org/podcast. And there are 12 steps there from Joyce that walk you through a great process to make a bad habit go away and replace it with a good habit.
Yes.
So it's really practical, really helpful stuff, and it's encouraging too. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
get there and get that. It'll help a lot.
Yep. Super helpful for people like me that really want that practical, step-by-step,
Just
help.
tell me what to do.
Just tell me, and I'll do it. Thank you.
Print it and put it on my mirror.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Or
great.
myself.
Good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you probably can copy and paste it or type it out on your own, like just so it can stick in your head and,
Yeah.
you can actually go through the steps. It's really helpful. So it'd be helpful for you to check that out.
And I'll tell you about a couple of the points real quick. One is accountability. Get people around you to help you.
Check. we got that right here.
And one is don't give up.
Yeah,
don't
never give up. Yeah, that's super helpful to know. So, yeah, check it out, ladies.
So don't give up on fixing these habits.
No.
We've got some help for you. There is a free online Bible study called Make One, Break One that will give you weekly encouraging emails to walk through this. So go to makeonebreak1.com. Sign up for it absolutely free. And just see what happens in your life. Let us know. We'd love to hear that you guys are doing great. And next time, please join us because this, okay, girls, you guys know this is a big one for me. We're going to talk about the mouth.
I didn't want to say anything, but
I know.
since you volunteered that information,
Everyone's
about
thinking
yourself,
it. Yeah. Like the things that we should not say, the things that we should say.
How fun.
I think I might cry next week.
Bring the tissues.
So that's what we'll be working on. Please join us and we'll all work on it together. We'll let God take the